Hey, welcome to Cbfu from the shop at Manifest Comics for the week of October 22nd. I'm Sam.
And I'm Isaac.
And Jared's still missing.
We suspect him dead and buried in some kind of potter's field or something.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Nadia.
Yeah.
But what do you got first?
First, we're going to start with Arkham Manor #1. This is by Jerry Dugan. Jerry Dugan has been working at Marvel recently with Deadpool and Incredible Hulk.
Really good.
Yeah, and this is another really good book from Jerry Dugan. I wasn't really looking forward to Arkham Manor #1, but I was really surprised by this. It's a really strong #1. Basically, Bruce Wayne Manor has been turned into Arkham, the new Arkham Asylum.
Yeah, I didn't really pitch me on it.
Okay. Bruce Wayne has lost Wayne Manor, basically, and it's now Arkham Manor.
Okay.
Well, basically, sometime during Batman Eternal, Arkham Asylum blows up, and all the criminals are basically in this, nowhere to go.
Okay.
So they put them in Arkham Manor.
Okay.
And now there's a murder mystery happening in the manor and everything.
Oh, that's cool.
And it was really good. He does a really good Batman, very strong Batman voice. He's got the voice of Batman, Alfred. And it was good. It sets up a good mystery. I really enjoyed it.
Cool.
I think I would give it 8 Lugos out of 10.
8 out of 10 Lugos.
I would definitely try it out.
Cool. First book that I'm going to review is Amazing Spider-Man #8. It is another part of Edge of Spider-Verse. We're getting closer to Edge of Spider-Verse.
This is the last issue.
Okay, so Spider-Verse is almost here, which is cool because it's been going on for a long time. The first story is basically just Spider-Man and Ms. Marvel.
Yeah.
And I have never read Ms. Marvel book, but it was pretty good. It was light, but it was fun. And there was a callback to that
yeah.
Well, I don't know if that was a digital series or what that was, but a learning curve, yeah. With the Alex Ross covers, it was like in between Amazing Spider-Man, Amazing Fantasy 15 or whatever. But I mean, that was a cool callback, so I was like, oh, I read that, that's cool. But the end is the Spider-Verse connection, which is with Mayday Parker.
Yeah.
From, I forget what they call that universe, but it's the future.
MC2, I think.
The future Marvel universe where Peter and Mary Jane have a daughter named May. And it's really good. It's the art's by Humberto Ramos. And it's much better than the first part, but it's really good.
Yeah, no, I can't wait for Spider-Verse at this point.
They got my attention. They had my attention for months now.
First of all,
ready for the payoff.
Dan Slott's the only writer, Spider-Man writer, I think, who's taken stuff from JMS's run.
Yeah.
Which is I love JMS's run, especially the beginning of it.
Most of those.
And Dan Slott's the only writer who's taken stuff from that and used it in the present day.
Yeah.
So I love seeing that, and it's really exciting to have Doc Ock Spidey and Peter Parker Spidey and hundreds of other Spideys in this event.
I mean, it may look like it's like cliche or like whatever, like gimmicky, but I mean, it's cool. It is really a cool event that I assume it's gonna be a cool event because we only got the prologues to it. But I liked it a lot. I'd give this 8 out of 10 Lugos, mostly because of the backup and because of the anticipation for Spider-Verse, which should be really good. What else?
Okay, our next book is another new #1 from DC Comics. This is Deathstroke #1. This is both written and drawn by Tony Daniel. I haven't been a big fan of Tony Daniel's writing in the past. I just don't like it, most of it. But this isn't bad. This is a good first issue. First of all, his art's really good. Yeah. So that's that's a high selling point for the book itself. But the story itself and the writing and everything is pretty good too. It's not a great book, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
You know, I did too. A lot of new #1s coming out from like different companies. DC being one of them, and Deathstroke being one of the only new DC comics beyond Arkham Manor and all. And I thought it was good. Yeah. I'm not usually a fan of Tony Daniel either, but I mean the art's strong, the story's strong. It's not the best book I've ever read. But it's much better than I'm thinking Lobo. I'm comparing it to Lobo.
Yeah, no, compared to like Lobo and the Teen Titans #1, it's really good.
Better. Yeah. And the character Deathstroke is he's getting more prominence because of Arrow and how awesome he was on Arrow. And it's good to see that he has a book that's, at least starting out strong. Yeah,
and the difference is, there aren't the changes, like in Lobo, the changes were very dramatic and everything. In this, Lobo doesn't have that deep of a backstory that the changes are that noticeable. I really don't think.
What do you mean, Deathstroke? What?
Yeah, Deathstroke.
You said Lobo.
Oh, I meant Deathstroke.
No, but that means it's just not a completely different character. Lobo completely changed to literally a different character. Deathstroke is still Deathstroke that existed pre-New 52. Yeah. There's nothing in this book that couldn't have taken place in the old 52. Yeah. And I like that. Those are my favorite DC books.
Yeah, no, I would give it a 7 out of 10 Lugos.
Cool. Last book is Axis #3, which you haven't read yet.
No, not yet.
And I'm going to sell you on it.
Okay, tell me.
All right. You know how they joke about in all the other books?
Yeah.
They do this again.
Really?
And it's so uncomfortable. And it's the villains joking this time. Yeah. And it's the same jokes. Not the same jokes, but the same tone. That part is terrible. It's awful. And it's garbage. But there's so many things that are in the book that are worthwhile. If you just look through the book, it's Linnell Francis Hughes. you can get the action from that. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some really cool things that happen in it. I'm not going to spoil them for you.
Okay.
You'll read it yourself. You'll read it yourself. But especially like with some of the main characters from the Rick Remender's old Uncanny X-Force run, some pretty major stuff happens. And we don't get to see the inversion itself, like exactly the effects. We start to see it, which is cool. It's a cool, like it makes me look forward to the next issue more. But I mean, the parts that are bad are awful, and the parts that are good are great, which is very confusing to me. And I'm not sure what to do. I think I'll give it 7 out of 10 Lugos because it was good. The bad parts were like a 3, and the good parts were like a 9. So I'm like, the event is picking up speed, like steam. I mean, the Red Skull thing was never like the main part of this event, and it feels like that. It feels like that was rushed.
So we got past this, now we can do whatever we want.
I mean, the Axis isn't about the Axis powers of Red Skull. It's about the inversion on the Axis. And that stuff is cool. There's a lot of stuff which, if you're not a fan of Avengers and X-Men fighting, you're not going to like parts of this book. I know Tony doesn't care for that. There's one scene in particular, which is like, again with the Avengers and X-Men, you don't understand us. So that's one of the bad parts. But the good parts are worth it, and I'm looking forward to the next part a lot.
So basically, Rick Remender, stop with the jokey.
Yeah, it's not. Just do what works. It's like, do the good jokes. Like, Deadpool can joke, and that works. But, like, Carnage joking doesn't make sense to me. And, yeah, I don't get it. And Doctor Doom and Loki joking together and palling around, it's weird. But, yeah, a lot of good books. A lot of good books. So come to the comic store and buy them.
Yes.
And if you like comic book art, we have an art auction going on right now. If you search Cbfu Charity Art Show on eBay, you will be able to bid on some beautiful pieces of art. We lowered the prices on some of them just earlier this afternoon. So they're cheaper, so you can buy them, and it may seem expensive, but you're not just buying art, you're also donating to 2 really good causes. I don't care if the art, I wouldn't care if the art was going to sell if it was, us making the money, but it's for 2 really good causes.
Because if it doesn't sell, it's just going up in his room.
Yeah, and I don't have room in my bedroom for these things. And listen, it's really good causes. It's like fighting cancer, and it's bringing art to kids who are terminally ill and chronically ill. And if there's nothing better than those things, I don't think.
Unless you like cancer and
if you like cancer and like terminally ill kids not getting art,
then you're terrible.
Enjoy yourselves. Watch as like nothing gets sold. But if you really want to help out, donate, bid on something. It's like there's some things that are cheap that are really nice. Bid on them, please. Thank you. See you next week.
See you next week.